Today we continue with our class Laws of Yom Tov, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and the topic today, the Day of Judgment. And it says, the way in which an individual tends to judge others can well determine his own status as a tzaddik, righteous person, or a rasha, wicked person, for all eternity. So it's not so simple so far, right? Very interesting beginning. So the way we judge others, the way we are going to be judged ourselves. So in some sense, the status of a tzaddik or righteous is decided when we judge others. Let's see. It's not so simple. The sages teach that whether or not an individual deemed meritorious is determined by the weight of the sum of his merit against the sins. Right? It's Rambam Hilchos Yeshua 3:1. The sages further state regarding the great day of judgment at the time of resurrection of the dead. Three books will be open, one of the completely righteous, one of the completely wicked, and one for those in between. The completely righteous will immediately be inscribed for eternal life. The completely wicked will immediately inscribed for a Gehinnom, and those in between will descend to Gehinnom. And those in between will descend to Gehinnom, and after enduring a period of retribution, will then ascend. It's from Rosh Hashanah 16b. Okay, so far it's not clear where we are going with that, so let's do from the beginning, and we're going to explain at least what it says here. So the sages teach that whether or not an individual is deemed to meritorious is determined by weighing the sum of the merit against his sins. Right, and it's actually one of the clips that we did. It's from Rambam Hilchos Yeshua. So it's very simple. What is the definition of the tzaddik? Right, it's not what people say today, but the classic definition, correct definition. If person has more merits than averos, than the sins, very simple. So if he has 51% merits, he's tzaddik. Right, it does not have to be 99 or 87. 51 is enough. Okay, continue. The sages further state regarding the great day of judgment and the time of resurrection of the dead. Okay, so that's why I'm not clear. A resurrection of the dead, I guess the old judgment are done by then, but let's see. Let's see. Three books will be open for one completely righteous, one completely wicked, and one for those in between. Right, so one is completely righteous, is as we understand the tzaddik, completely wicked also in this one, and one in between is 150-50. Okay, so so most of the people consider themselves to be in this second category, 50-50. It's not so simple. The completely righteous will be immediately inscribed in eternal life, and completely wicked will be immediately described for Gehinnom. And those in between will descend to Gehinnom, and after enduring the period of retribution, will then ascend. I'm not sure what confuses me. I'm not sure why he said resurrection of the dead. I think it says there about Rosh Hashanah, how the three books on Rosh Hashanah is open. Okay, so let's explain based on Rosh Hashanah. I think it's like more practical. It makes more sense. Right, so it says three books are open. So the one who is deserving is going to get in the book of life. Meaning what? If he is going to die right now, he's going to get life in the world to come. Right. The wicked, if they die right now, they're going to get this eternal Gehinnom unless they do teshuva. So all of these things, all of the judgment of it's based on the results of previous year, right? But of course is a subject to change if somebody do teshuva before they die, right? So even though somebody is written in the book of death, does not mean that he's going to get get a death penalty right away. Maybe it is delayed in, I don't know, to 1 week or 1 month, right? So if person does teshuva, he's not going to get killed. Okay, right? And the second and the third category is somebody in between. So meaning if person is going to die and he did not do these big sins for which the punishment is chorus, meaning his life is shortened. He like in this world, in the world to come, or just in the world to come, or he deserves a death penalty according to the base din. But of course there is no Sanhedrin. But since there is no Sanhedrin, so he's judged as and maybe there is no chorus penalty for this sin anyway. So he's going to gain forever. So basically, it's no win situation for this Rishaim. Okay, so that's why we want them to do teshuva. Okay, but somebody in between that forgot to say blessing. This blessing and that blessing, and did some minor sins, and for a majority of the sins he did or she did teshuva, so it's not necessary to go to Gehinom at all, or go for some period of time. Okay, so I'm not sure what is going on there. 1 second, let me check quickly. Okay, we're good. Sorry. Okay, so continue. If Hashem will judge an individual by measure of strict justice, then even the individual had performed countless good deeds, though through the course of his lifetime, he will nevertheless be left in very few merits by the time his judgment has ended. Many of his deeds will have been found lacking the proper detail or method. Okay, while those whose performance was wholesome might not have been accompanied by the proper love of God or of Him, or were devoid of the joy with which the mitzvah should be performed. Thus, most of the good deeds will be found blemished in some way. The individual remaining good deeds will be far overweighed by his sins, and thus will redeem Rasha for eternity. Okay, so let's try to understand what it says here. So we're going to read again and explain line by line. Very interesting. So Hashem will judge if Hashem will judge an individual based on the measure of strict justice. So, and that's what people sometimes do to others. They just throw them in a garbage or something, right? Because person said something or did something only once, right? Maybe that's not what they meant. Maybe they did not pay attention. So we have to be a little more patient. Okay. So I never forget when I was sick, I think last year, and I was very sick, like I thought even that I'm going to die. It was so bad. And people start cursing me, people that I'm not replying their like text messages. So I was I don't know where I was in these 3 or 4 or 5 days, a high fever, crazy, and they curse me like I do not care about them. It's like it's unbelievable. When I got better and I read these passages, it was a big lesson for me. Very interesting about a little patient. Yeah. So very interesting, right? So if Hashem is going to judge us with a measure of strict justice, right, it's not going to be good for us. Why? Because all of the mitzvahs, they blemish in some ways, right? Even there are many of them, right? He said, what is it? Some of them are not done properly, not in proper details or methods, or not a proper time. Many mistakes, right? Or it was not no intention, or a person was thinking about something else. I would say, just say, you are what your thoughts are, right? So you were not there, basically, right? And or as he said, they were not accompanied by the love of Hashem, of Him. So all of these things are right. So all of the mitzvahs, even though they are, but they are blemished. Very interesting, right? Thus, the most of the good deeds will be found blemish in some way. The individual remain good deeds will be far outweighed by his sins. But on another hand, to be just, and that's how many ends right in the books. But I would say all of the sins also not completely like out of rebellion, right? Not out of rebellion, but because maybe a lack of concentration, maybe inattention, maybe this, maybe that. So it's all of these sins are not always like rebellious sins, right? So, but if Hashem would judge us as we sometimes judge others, it's not going to be very good for us. That's the point. Okay. Any questions? What we said?
Hello.
Yes. Yes, I'm listening.
First question board says, Shalom, Racha, Kavod. Thank you very much for your question. Sometimes it seems that we have days of judgment in this life, and with certainty we see how only Tshuva saves us.
Mm-hmm.
Can those days be taken like that?
Yes, yes. That's absolutely, that's amazing question. Absolutely amazing question. So it says, that there is a Rosh Hashanah, there is Yom Kippur, but it's personal Rosh Hashanah also comes according to Hashem's schedule. You understand? So we have to be prepared for that Rosh Hashanah day, right? So and Hashem would send or day before our personal Rosh Hashanah. So maybe for sure, I'm not talking about anybody present, but Hashem decided to take this person out of this world, let's say, and give the person last chance. How are you going to behave? They call it the moment of truth. How you like last chance. And that's why some days some people, and they reported to me, and I had in my life also that days I think it's the end of the world, like so much pressure, like too much pressure. Why? Because Hashem is testing how you're going to behave, and then from nowhere, like sun is going to come out, and everything is nice, and birds are singing, like unbelievable, like nothing ever happened. Right? We have to always have to remember that it's just a test. It's just a test, and Hashem just watching us how we're going to perform under the pressure. It's very simple. I mean, I say it's simple, but when me or you in this situation, it's not so simple. But our task, to think straight. Satan is trying to confuse us in order to what? In order to throw us on the ground. Okay, very good question. So personal Rosh Hashanah comes on different days. Mm-hmm. What else?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question says, Shalom Kodalav. When doing, I'm not sure if this is actually related to this topic of Sefer Haloshon.
So if it's not related to Rosh Hashanah, to what we said, let's leave it for later on.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir. Go.
No, sorry, Robert. There's no more questions about this.
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so I have a different glasses today. I have a reflection coat because all of my last pair broke today, unfortunately. So I apologize for if it's reflects. Okay. So all right. So we continue with laws of Yom Tov, and we're in chapter 14. Very interesting topic, and we discussed last time extensively about smoking. Right. So we said that today, since it was a consensus of all of this poskim that it's not good for the health, hazardous, so it cannot be considered benefit of the most people, right? Where we said if most of the people are going to benefit, for example, from food, from a hot drink, from hot tea or coffee or something, for soup, right, or meat or fish, whatever. So everybody would benefit. That's very straightforward, right? But to say smoking in olden days, As we said, people thought maybe it's good for digestive system, but maybe it's a little good for the digestive system, but it's very good for a cancer, even better for a cancer. Okay, so we try to stay away. Okay, but of course, since there is some dissenting opinions, so we said if person is like heavy smoker and he cannot live without cigarettes, so let him smoke, but somebody who just smokes like occasionally, not allowed to smoke. Okay, so continue part number 3, Halachos relevant to smoking. The remainder of this chapter will deal with the various halachas relevant to smoking on Yom Tov and those who follow the poskim that permit smoking. Our discussion on this is no way to mean to imply final decision on the matter of whether smoking is permitted. Okay, so but when we learn in Hilchos Dios, right, about Rambam like advice, right? It's not halacha, but about healthy lifestyle. So that we had the introduction. I don't remember, like few pages introduction, and this person, the translator, he explained very carefully, right? And then halacha is actually like as he said. So today we have to take into consideration, of course, what Rambam said. It was absolutely 100% true and pure according to his time, according to his medical knowledge, and he had amazing medical knowledge, as we understand, right? But if something like proved differently in today's days and age, so you're not allowed to follow what Rambam said, and because he went to only on scientific knowledge, right? So today, for example, if people they eat different food and the air is different, water is different, everything is different, our lifestyle is different, right? So the food that in the Rambam's days were good, but today maybe they are GMO, like processed food. It's a disaster. You understand? So we have to go many times by what contemporary poskim say, right? Not poskim based on current science advances, right? So same as here. If today is like, I don't think any normal person would say that smoking is actually good. Of course, we say the first cigarette is not going to kill you. Of course, there is you cannot say like if it's a person was smoking for 10 years and this one more cigarette is going to damage his health. Maybe it's going to damage, but it's not you cannot exactly scale like how much it's going to damage. You understand? But on the other hand, it says clearly in Torah that we must watch our health. Period. So, and even if it's like a small like probability that this cigarette or one cigarette, right? It doesn't matter how small the probability is. It's going to damage the person's health. It's not allowed to smoke, right? And needless to say, they do with drugs or some other things, like alcohol, like I said, right? So all of these things absolutely forbidden, not good for our health and service of Hashem. Okay, so continue. So we're going into all of these halachas that connected to smoking. Lighting a cigarette, cigar, or a pipe. Okay. As we previously learned in chapter 12, it is forbidden to create new fire on Yom Tov. Consequently, one may not strike a match or use a cigarette lighter to light a cigarette, cigar, or a pipe on Yom Tov. So that's why, like, not in order for smoking, but for lighting candles and other things. So you need always a burning flame. If you have a gas stove, that's good. If you don't, you have your side candle, the 48 hours candles, or some like a few times, I don't know, or one time we ran out of the candles and did not check. So there is still no problem. We burn one 24 hours candle. And from that, we took light and lit another 24 hours candle. There is no problem whatsoever. Okay. So, but if person wants to smoke, so he needs to take the light from pre-existing flame, meaning that you have a match or with whatever you want to take the light. I mean, if you have a candle and it's like a regular candle, for example, you can simply like smoke, like take the fire from there, or take with a match, like put a match in a fire and then start from the match. Continue. One may light cigarette, etc. From existing flame. Okay, apologies, I already said it. From candle or gas flame. Okay, another lit cigarette or red hot electric element. Okay, so from all of these sources of heat, so which is according to our halacha, it's considered to be fire. It should be lit directly from existing flame, since the use of the medium to transfer the fire, for example, match or toothpick, would constitute unnecessary kindling. Of course, if you're afraid that your beard, your hair can catch a fire, so of course you're allowed to use the medium. But if it's not necessary, so don't use it. If one is unable to light the cigarette directly from existing flame, the use of medium is permitted, as we said. So, okay, continue. B. Extinguish a cigarette, cigar, or pipe. We learned in the previous chapter that the melacha of extinguishing is generally prohibited on Yom Tov, right? As we said, even for not constructive purpose. It is therefore prohibited to extinguish cigarette. When one completes smoking a cigarette, he should place it down gently on a dry surface and leave it to burn itself out. So on a dry surface, he said it specifically. Why? Because you cannot put it in a wet surface, so it's going to be like indirectly, but it's going to be extinguishing. If it burns out, there is no problem. Okay. And I guess same with cigar. I'm not sure. I think people smoke cigar and not in one time. Not in one setting, but I think they smoke like in few settings. I'm not sure, but I think so. Okay, pipe also just set it there. Okay. Continue. C. Tapping a cigarette. It is forbidden to tap a cigarette forcefully in order to have ashes fall off the tip. The tapping causes the burning ashes to fall to the ground and be extinguished almost immediately. So again, the tapping of the cigarette from these ashes, it's melach of extinguishing. Okay. So, but he said forcefully, meaning if tap just a little, that's not a problem. Continue. Burning of imprinted words. Most manufactured cigarettes are imprinted with the brand name toward the end of the cigarette. Okay, the poskim disagree whether or not this smoking a cigarette to this point constitutes violation of prohibition of minhag, erasing. Many poskim forbids it. However, there are several poskim who permits it. Initially, it is best for one to abide by stringent view in this matter. The following two methods that enable one to avoid the problem. So let's before we continue. So what is the problem? So you have a cigarette, and on a cigarette there is a brand, Marlboro or whatever, Parliament, whatever a cigarette brand is, right? So what is the problem? One of the 39 melachas that we cannot erase even for destructive purpose, right? Erase something that is written. Written meaning what? Letters or some symbols, that meaningful symbols. They have a smiley face, whatever meaningful symbol. You have a flower, right? Whatever you have. So it is like simple shapes. There is no problem. Like a curly line or line, just a triangle, rectangle. There is simple shapes. There is no problem. But more like complex shapes, it is a problem, right? And here he said you have a closer to the filter, right? You have this wording with the name of the company, right? Which is some poskim say it's like because whatever you did, right? You lit the cigarette, you smoke, right? And now you're going to raise these letters. It's problem, but some poskim say it's not a problem, right? So the solution is number one, to stop puffing before reaching the imprinted words, meaning you stop a little before you put it down, and it's going to burn by itself, right? So for sure, indirectly, you're not benefiting from this whatsoever. That's first solution. And second, to bolt out the words with the ink before Yom Tov. So it's very interesting. I mean, I would never make this up. So it's very interesting. So they say if there is if you put some ink, blot it out. This word, this Marlboro, whatever it says, there's no problem. There's no problem. You're not erasing. There is nothing to erase. Very interesting. Next one, opening a closed pack of cigarettes. That's another issue. Eh? It is preferable to open a pack of cigarettes before Yom Tov. If this was not done, according to many authorities, it should open only in destructive manner, such as cutting down a side in L shape. Okay, so according to most poskim, right, and we're not allowed to create opening. I mean, it's actually not according. It's like a separate milah. We're not allowed to create opening, and we're not allowed to create a vessel, something new. So vessel, what was it in vessel? Something that it can be reused. So this box, it was it was closed, sealed. So it like cigarette pack, right? So it was sealed, was not used. So now when we open this smoker, right? Open first time on Shabbos, so he creates a usable vessel, and it's not allowed. And same with if you wanted to open the pack of cereal, even cookies on Shabbos, all of these things, and Yom Tov, so you have to destroy it. So how you destroy it? You do L shape, right? You cut it like this. Of course, you take scissors like this and like this. So meaning you open the box of cookies, so it is totally unusable, for sure, right? I mean, you can keep cookies there, but that's you show that you're not interested in packaging. And that's what he said that we have to do with this pack of cigarettes. Next one. Carrying a pack outdoors. Due to the principle increasing the amount, see chapter 4 and 15. Okay, 15 is also here. No, apologies. 15 is the next chapter. It is permitted to carry the entire pack of cigarettes outdoors, even one certain that he will not need the whole pack. Okay, so in chapter 4 of increasing, we were talking about the food, right? So if you have, if you're making whatever you're making, right? And let's say you cook the pieces of chicken, so it doesn't matter. So and you can do in the same settings, right? In almost exactly the same exertion, right? So you just took raw pieces of chicken, put in a pot, right? So it doesn't matter, like to put extra water does not make any difference. Put a little extra salt, pepper, all of these spices does not make any difference, right? It's not extra effort, and plus it's going to cook in one setting. So exactly like it's going to cook exactly like 2 hours and 15 minutes, whether it's 3 pieces of chicken or 4 pieces or 7 pieces of chicken, because you make the flame a little larger, but that's it. So meaning this increase does not make any difference. And in transporting, we're going to say, since it is allowed to transport something on Shabbos or Yom Tov, I apologize, we were talking about Yom Tov, On Shabbos we're not allowed to transport, like unless you have Eruv, then there is no problem whatsoever. But on Yom Tov, since you're allowed to transport, even there is no Eruv, so I would say just say you don't have to count. Same as with this chicken. So if you like, even if the guy is going to smoke only 3 cigarettes, so he can take the pack of 18, let's say. Whatever is left 18, there is no problem. Same with diapers, right? Or you took facial tissues, right? You have the whole pack. I don't know how many in the pack, like 20 for the 30. So you need maybe one, maybe you're not going to need any of that, right? But you can carry all of them. Diapers and baby wipes, all of these things. You don't have to count. Okay, so we finished the smoking. Any issues or any questions on what we said about smoking? Yes.
So, say if a person lights a fire unintentionally on Yom Tov, so would this person be forbidden from turning it down?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And additionally, he would not be allowed to benefit from it either.
Benefit, yes. Also, no benefit. Yes, correct. Yes. Okay. What else? Yeah.
There's a question. Hashem question. Could we consider deleting a letter if the letter was made on top of a challah? For example, an aleph? Thank you very much, Rabbi.
That's a good, very, very good question. It's about 100% an issue. It is an issue. So you have here's a practical example. You put some letter, and it's actually, I said it's simple. It's not so simple. If it was baked together with the challah, like in one piece, maybe there is no problem. But if it was added before, that would be the problem. Because it's this aleph is not something separate. If they added like after and combine two things together, that would be the problem. So you would not be allowed to cut the letter. So to cut around the letter, right, and then there is no problem whatsoever. And this class is bothering me. Sorry. So the best example would be cakes. Right, when you make the cake, you bake a cake, and then you put all the cream on top. If you put the cream, and then you have some decorations. So if some people they put nice decorations, and they let's say they put flowers, like it's a complete flower. So that would be a problem to cut this flower. You understand? So you have to cut between the flower. If person eats, that's normal. It's not considered to be a raisin. It's considered a normal way of eating, right? But for example, in the Jewish circle, the bakeries, nobody put like happy birthday on a cake. For example, a child's birthday is on Shabbos, on Friday, whatever was it, right? And you want a happy birthday, so they put a happy birthday on a plate of chocolate, right? There is thing of chocolate, so you can always take out. He wants to eat this chocolate, let him the chocolate, but you can cut the whole cake, and they would not make specifically like any flowers or any meaningful shapes. They would like circles, this and that. So, but it's not meaningful shapes, and you can cut. But if you already bought this cake, for example, and you bought the cake from non-Jewish supermarket, let's say, right, and it's kosher. For you, let's say, right, and there is some flowers possible. I mean, because it's not necessary that people would buy this cake for Shabbos, right? So, Kashrus company says that it's kosher. All ingredients are kosher. All of this baking procedure is kosher. That's what they certify. But in this case, so you have to cut between the letters. Let's say there is a happy birthday right on the cake. Let's say, right? So you would cut between the letters. Not destroying the letters, Or another option, you take the whole cream, like lettuce with a little bit on the bottom, so in order not to destroy them. Then you can eat the cake. Okay. But I think if I remember correctly, if it was baked as one piece, like this challah and on top of olive, there is no problem. Okay. What else? Any other questions? Okay, no problem. So we continue. So we start a new chapter today, 15. The topic is transporting. One of the 29 Avis Melachas, hoitzo'o, means transferring, but it's commonly referred as carrying, right? So we never say transporting, we always say transferring, sometimes we say transferring, but carrying, okay? Because carrying is always like when you walk. Transferring, maybe you do electronically, maybe you do via car, but carrying is usually it's while you walk. So this, in my opinion, that's more descriptive. This melacha consists transferring objects from one domain to another. Just 1 second, quickly check. Okay. So let's read and then we add what we can. This melacha consists of transferring object from one domain to another. The Torah forbids person to transfer object on Shabbos from the area which is defined in halacha, its private domain, all right, reshus hayachid, okay, to one defined as a public domain, reshus harabim, or vice versa. So, okay. So before we continue, so since we have new people, so I'd like to quickly to remind us what are we talking about. So where we start Shabbos, or we were intended to start Shabbos, let's say in our apartment usually, right? It's normal. So it's considered to be your residence, that you're going to Shabbos residence, right? So if you went to somebody else, you stay by your friend's house, so now your Shabbos residence is going to be their house, not your apartment. Maybe you live like, I don't know, a few blocks away, but their apartment, if you don't plan to go back, right? Or if you in your friend's house, right, on set of Shabbos, you're going to be there for Kabbalah Shabbos, right? But you're planning to go home to sleep, right? So your residence is there where you're going to sleep. It's very interesting. So this area, like surrounded by the walls, is considered to be your private residence, right? Your reshus hayachid, meaning your private domain, right? Or private domain, and everything is outside is a public domain. It's a simplified halacha, right? But the sages say, according to Torah, I mean, I don't see that they discuss it. The real public domain, according to the Torah, is a place like one street, wide street. I don't remember how many amos, maybe 20 amos, maybe I want to say 18 amos. I'm not sure if 18 or 17 amos. So it's like one amo is 2 feet approximately, a little less approximately. So it's pretty wide street, and 600,000 people pass during one day. So as you understand, most of the streets do not have this qualification, right? And all of this is actually whatever we have. It's a rabbinical domain. It's not. It's Carmelis. Okay. So, but we treat this Carmelis, this semi-public domain, as exactly as a biblically prohibited. Okay, so continue. It is also forbids moving the object distance 4 amos, approximately 7 feet, or 2.1 meters. 2.1 meters. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So okay. So Let's see. So first, you cannot take from one domain into another domain, from private to public, from public to private, doesn't matter. And plus, you're not allowed to carry. Well, we're going to see what carrying means, right? In a public domain for these 4 amos. They say 7 to 8 feet, so in approximately 2 meters. Okay. So even though this item, whatever it was there, so it fell. So the example, was would be like your button, right? You have a button, and you chuck it, and it fell on the street. So you're not allowed to pick it up. You're not allowed to pick it up. You're not allowed to carry it, right? Even if you want to save it. Okay, there are ways, but it's not so simple. Okay, so now it fell. Now it's like in some sense you carry it. So now it belongs to the public domain. So you cannot just pick it up and put it in your pocket and think that you're going to sew it later on. That's a problem. Okay, continue. Under rabbinical law, the same restriction applies to transfer between either private or public and Carmelis. Okay. There is a limited public domain, such as through fair. That is not widely traveled. So I guess not for us, it's most of the streets for us is going to be Carmelis. So of course there is no 600,000 people and all of the local streets. Okay. And to move the object 4 amos within the Carmelis. So according to Rabbi, so you cannot transfer from Carmelis, the semi-public domain, into 100% public domain, from public domain to Carmelis, from Carmelis into private domain, from private domain into Carmelis, and plus you cannot carry things in the semi-public domain, right? But of course, since it is rabbinical law, right? So rabbis had the power to establish the law, and rabbis had the power, as always, have create some kind of exceptions in the case of the needs. So, but we don't make up our own exception. We just follow what rabbis said. Okay. So continue. The melacha Hoitzoon applies on Yom Tov. Hoitzoon is carrying. Okay. Thus, although carrying is in many instances permitted, as we shall see shortly, there's a numerous instances which is prohibited. So, like generally, when we started this class, we said the biggest difference between Shabbos and Yom Tov that you can cook on Yom Tov from the beginning, right, and do all the melachas that needed for cooking. As we said, lighting fires, it's one of the melachas that is needed for cooking, right? And it's one difference. And second difference is carrying. So whatever you need for a Yom Tov needs, you can carry. So you need the chairs to get the chairs from your friend. You can carry the chairs, even though there is no Eruv. You need as we said in the previous chapter, you need to take a cigarette somewhere. There is no problem. You need the diapers for the children, baby wipes, milk, whatever you need. There is no problem. You can carry. Okay, but only, of course, for the needs of Yom Tov. Okay. Continue. Number 1, purposes for which carrying is permitted on Yom Tov. Oh, here we go. A, matters pertaining to food consumption. Ochel nefesh. Right, so the achel nefesh is whatever needs to for food. Of course, it would consider it matches, right? So to make a fire, this and that. So all of these pots, pans. Okay. The most basic purpose for which carrying is permitted on Yom Tov is achel nefesh. It is permitted to carry food on Yom Tov to a location where one is needed it. For example, one may borrow food from a neighbor to carry home. Okay, no problem. See chapter 31 for the laws of borrowing on Yom Tov. Okay. So chapter 15, yeah, we're going to get to it. So it's not so simple. What is the problem? So on Shabbos and Yom Tov, sorry, we are forbidden to do business transaction. So borrowing, in some sense, it's like a business transaction. So sometimes you have a person would buy on credit, meaning what? That he going to take an item and said, I'm going to pay you later. Okay, very interesting. So of course there are some restrictions. Similar on Sukkot, one may carry his Yom Tov meal from his home to the Sukkah across the public domain. Okay. So I always thought in this area that I told you before, I think last time, Lower East Side, when Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatzal used to live. So it's used to be like a 2-story building, 3-story buildings, very cramped with people, these immigrants from Europe, especially after the war, right, and even before the war. 5-story building. But then there were a few factories, very famous factories, and they have unions of people, right? Union worker, and they built actually whole buildings, like huge buildings. I don't know how many stories, 15 stories, 6 at 20, I don't know, like huge buildings. And that's where most of the Jews lived, in this building. So, and they have like yard, like a common space, and they would build a communal sukkah, or several of them, so the management allowed, and they would carry all of the foods downstairs. So, like for example, if you live on the 4th floor or 3rd floor, like carrying everything that you need. Like I have a porch, right, where we put the sukkah on the porch. Even sometimes on the porch, you have to go back and forth, and it's like everything is tiny. You have a tiny kitchen, that tiny porch, like I don't know how many steps, but sometimes you walk like 3, 4, 10 times back and forth. You forgot that, you forget this, and you already get tired. So these people who live on the 3rd floor and they have to walk, I don't know, another 100 feet to get, or 200 feet to get to this communal sukkah, that's too much. But this one of things that is allowed on Yom Tov. Maybe that's one of the reasons people living living from that place. I mean, it's they can, for the same amount of money they pay for these apartments, they can buy a huge house for kids to run around, right? No carrying in sukkah necessary. You can have your own sukkah. Okay, so B, others Yom Tov needs. So first we said food. Okay, other. It is permissible mitoch. Since it is permitted for the purpose of preparing food, it is permitted for other purposes as well. See chapter 3. So again, mitoch, since it is permitted for this, it is permitted for other things. And example that I'm going to remind you is since it is permitted to boil water to make yourself soup or hot coffee, so it is permitted to boil water or warm up water to wash the dishes, to wash your hands, to wash your face and stuff like that. So, okay, since it is permitted for this, it is permitted for that. Okay, so and this permission also applies to carrying. So initial permission is for the food, and this mitoch is actually extension. Okay. Thus, one may carry the item through the public domain for the sake of any Yom Tov need. So whatever you need for Yom Tov, any books, whatever you need, glasses, some people need reading glasses, and some people need I don't know, talus. Talus is the problem, but we're going to explain. I mean, it's not a problem if you carry it correctly, but tissues, whatever you need, candies. However, as mentioned in chapter 3, mitoch does not permit doing melacha when it's not is not for a Yom Tov need. Accordingly, carrying is permitted only if the item being carried will fulfill Yom Tov need or will enhance one's enjoyment for the festival, Simchas Yom Tov. So you're allowed to carry the item. They did not say, but I mean, it's implied. We repeated so many times. We'll remember by heart. Whatever you need only for this day, not for the next day. So whatever I need for this day of Yom Tov, I can carry. Whatever I need for the next day of Yom Tov, I cannot carry. So meaning what, if you're going to carry anyway, so you have to derive any benefit from that item in this day of Yom Tov. Okay, so the classic example would be to carry in Haggadah, right? So somebody invite you to their house for the second day of Pesach, and you decided to go to the shul together. So you cannot carry Haggadah, like practically. Why? Because it's for sure for the next day, for second day of Yom Tov. Today is first day. So the solution is you learn Haggadah a little in the shul. There's no preparation. You look over like all of the steps, right? So then it's going to be for this day. Nevertheless, it is permitted in not limited to cases where one is definitely use the item on Yom Tov. It is permissible to carry even something concerning which there is a reasonable possibility that it will be needed. For example, one may carry a raincoat in his hand on a cloudy day because of the possibility that it will rain and he will need it to wear it. Okay, that's very interesting. We will discuss below further particulars of the restriction of the carrying items unnecessarily. So that's a different story. So if you wear this raincoat, there is no problem whatsoever, according to all of the opinions. It's not considered to be carrying if it's a very sunny day, right? In the middle of the summer, you have your winter coat. There is no problem because it's not considered to be carrying. It's article of clothing. Okay, but if you want to carry it in your hand, that's an issue, right? But they say if it's reasonable to suspect it's going to rain later, right? So then you're allowed to carry. Okay, so any questions on what you said? Yes, go ahead.
Question the word says, is the area out of an apartment within the apartment building considered public domain / Carmelis?
Yes. So our private domain is only our outdoor. As soon as I open the door, across that threshold, that's a public domain. Like, not public Carmelis, but we treat it as public. So we have to be very, very careful with that. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So technically, taking the hand out of the window while wearing, something like we're not supposed to carry, like a watch or something like that. Would this be considered carrying?
Carrying, the definition of carrying. It's a very good question. It's an amazing question. The definition of carrying, of course, we skipped it. Not of course, but we skipped it. That you pick up in one domain something, and you walk 4 amos, or even you don't walk 4 amos, and you put in a public domain, right? So that's it. So, but since you stick out the hand in the window, let's say. Watch is not a good example. I mean, it is good, but let's make something different, like totally different. You had in your hand a book, right? So you stick your hand in the book. Maybe it's also not a good example. All right, something, right? You had something in your hand and you brought back. Since you never put it down in a public domain, so it's not considered to be carrying. You understand? So, and in some cases, case of necessity, I don't want to make it to complicate our topic. But if in case of necessity, continue moving, don't stop. Right? So it's not going to be considered carrying. Continue moving, because as soon as you stop, so it's like you have this item in your pocket, you establish a permanent location, even for 1 second. So those are these joggers, right? They never stop. They're on the traffic light, they jog a little on the same place. Okay, so probably they try to emulate this carrying or not carrying. Okay, so I think we can stop here. And see if you have any other questions, please. Yes, go ahead.
So about this issue of carrying, so what about how does this, like Rabbi just explained, apply to the prohibition of carrying stuff inside our pockets, things that we don't need? We are not necessarily putting these things on a public domain. We're kind of constantly moving with them. So I don't know. I was wondering.
Yeah, but you stop from time to time. You stop. That's it. So of course, carrying is not only direct carrying, but even indirect. So what is indirect? So as I said, in your pocket. So it's proper, absolutely proper, for a man, for women, doesn't matter, to have Shabbos clothing. And in Shabbos clothing, make sure you never ever put anything in your pockets. Never ever. So I have this thing. I never open my side pockets in my my jacket. It's always sewn shut. So I would not put by myself. It's not my Shabbos jacket, but that's my custom. I never open up. You understand? I never put my Shabbos pants. Never ever. Even for example, for example, I use a tissue, right? And I'm sometimes I would put it in a pocket, but on Shabbos and Yom Tov, I never ever put it in a pocket. So I would carry in my hand, go to the waste basket, put it in a basket, and that's it. Never put it in a pocket. Why? Because it's only a matter of time when you forget and you're going to carry. And same with glasses, yeah, and that's why it says there is I don't know, just one practical example. It is forbidden to go in sunglasses outside on Shabbos. Why? Because you saw outside, yeah, it's very sunny. You put your sunglasses and then it become not so sunny, or you're in the shade and you wanted to take your glasses and sunglasses off, and guess what? You're going to carry for amos in the public domain. It's very simple. That's why I also just say don't wear, unless of course there is exception when somebody have a very, very sensitive vision, right? And the sun can damage their eyesight. That's a exception. So meaning that person is so sensitive, so they never ever going to remove the sunglasses. You understand? So that's why in this case, those specific exceptions, we do not worry. But with all other people who put them for style, for sure it is forbidden.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Just one example. Okay. What else?
I was wondering, so say if a person lives not too close to shul and still has to walk to Ed,
Mm-hmm.
is this person, in the case this person is living on a not so safe neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
would this person be allowed to carry something for personal defense, such as pepper spray, something like that?
No, absolutely not. No. So I say don't go to shul, right? Because this is serious minhag. It's one of the 29 melachas that we are not allowed to carry. So it's a biblical melacha not to carry, and it's rabbinical melacha to pray in shul. So we don't perform rabbinical and canceling biblical. That's not what we do. You're welcome.
So this thing would not become, this item of personal defense would never become something necessary for the person, regardless.
The only exception is when someone has this seizures from time to time, and it's not once a month, would come from nowhere. So in this case, they would allow. In the olden days, there is there's some pills from the seizure, some spray. I don't remember exactly. So they would allow the person to carry indirectly. So even this pill, they would put in all the days they would carry like wear this fedora hat, and there is inside there is something I don't know whatever it's called, like sweatband I think it's called, right? And put the pill behind this sweatband. You understand? So it's a very indirect caring. So but otherwise, because it's for sure it's pikuach nefesh, because it can come in any time, and staying at home is going to disturb that person very much. So some people get upset, but sometimes I get upset with these people even more than they're upset not coming to shul. So for example, they install in the shul that they go the lift for a wheelchair. Right, of course we have a non-Jew who operates. So I asked Rabbi, of course he expected me to ask, because nobody asked. Everybody saying Chazaka Baruch. I said, how is it allowed, Rabbi? He said, the non-Jew. I said, but still he doing for a Jew. Like, don't play stupid here. Of course, I'm telling you, I didn't tell him. I said, but he's doing for the benefit of the Jew. But he said, yeah, but this guy, he's so lonely. He wants to come to the shul to hear to Torah reading. But this guy who comes to the shul with a wheelchair, right? Of course, there is like no more. So somebody's pushing, like homemade, would push him right on a wheelchair. But then this lift is going to, electric lift is going to lift it up on a different level. That's all he needs. But this guy never comes on a weekday. So if he misses shul so much, so come on a weekday. Why only on Shabbos day? That's very interesting. You understand? So there's these people who said that they disturb if they don't come to the shul. So if you so disturb, so you have this home aid, this house aid. I guess somebody who cannot work can have this 24 hours, maybe 7 days a week. I'm just I think this way, right? It's logically. So why would you not come over for a fast day, for any day? But this guy insists only on coming Shabbos day. I mean, it's their business. I'm not getting involved, but some people over exaggerate their feelings, I think. So if you're zealous, be zealous always. If you're not zealous, so don't push it. Okay. Go ahead. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll all the way up to the first question. Okay, this was another question, sorry. Okay, when doing mitzvah like praying in the morning, how can we be joyous when it's difficult for us to get up and have proper kavanah?
That's an amazing question. So today I had one question that I loved very much. So there is one guy on our YouTube channel. Looks like he's a Breslover, and he said, Rabbi, is it any problem to go with Breslover head, this Nachman, into the bathroom? So I said, no, there is no a kippah. It's a kippah. There is no problem. But he said no, and he started pushing. He insists. So of course, whatever I tell him is correct. But he said no, but it says Nachman. So I explained to him there is it's of course we understand what it means, but technically the Nachman, it's there are many people that are called Nachman. Right, so that does not mean that you cannot call this in the restroom. Let's say you're in a bathhouse or somewhere, so or your son named Nachman, you call him from the restroom. Let's say you bring me towel, bring me this and that. There's no problem, right? But he's holy guy, so I told him the skipper is the smallest issue that sometimes these people have. So he thanked me, and today he sent up another message. He said, Rabbi, I've been praying Nusach Ari, and the guy listed all of the prayers that he had, that he prays in the morning. And so he said, it takes me 1.5 hours. He said, Rabbi, maybe I'm doing something wrong, and I'm trying. I'm familiar with many prayers by now. Many of them, all I know almost by heart. No, not by heart, but very familiar. And it still takes 1.5 hours. So I say it's very, very praiseworthy. It's normal to have the prayer to take 1.5 hours. So of course they implying that Ashkenazim, some of them, not all of them, but some of them pray very fast, very, very fast. They complete the whole Shacharis in 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Stop 25, it's normal. 35, you're very slow. You understand? Not 35 yet. 35, not 25, 35, 30 minutes, the whole Shacharis. So the proper is 1 hour, right? And his question was very similar. So he said, how can I have how can I be happy? How can I have kavanah? It takes so long time. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I told him exactly nusach Ari, nusach Ashkenaz, nusach Sfar. I pray I know the prayer. It's exactly the same. That they just switch some verses around, some psukim around, whatever in Ashkenazim say, Sephardim do not say, or whatever Sephardim say, Ashkenazim says something different. The carbonos by Ashkenazim different. Sephardim say some of these carbonos on a minhag. Stop it. It's plus minus 3.5 minutes. The whole differences in prayer. So how to be happy again? So you know that you stay you're standing before the King of the Kings. That's and he chose you, and he came. He also you when you meeting somebody like flesh and blood. So you woke up early, let's say in the morning, but this person also woke up early. Like for example, when I come to shul, doesn't matter how early I come, almost only a few times a year, maybe 5 times, 6 times a year I come earlier than the gabbai or 5 different people. Sometimes the people come so early, yes, I got up very early, but I see that everything is on, everything is working, everything Torah is ready, this is ready, that is ready. So, and you have appreciation. Yeah, I woke up early, but guess what? These people got much earlier than me. So to prepare all the things by the time I come, so they been here for maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, I don't know. You understand? So when we pray, we understand that Hashem was already there. So he was waiting for us. So that's amazing feeling. So that he woke up. Now, of course, he does not sleep, but in some sense, he came because of us in this place. Where Hashem says, from the place when you call me, I'm going to hear you. And that is why it's very proper to establish your place in a house. Where are you going to pray? In a house, in a synagogue, that doesn't matter. But it has to be established place. You want to pray in a bedroom, if it's more secluded for you, more private, so family does not bother you, let it be bedroom. If it's a living room, make a living room. If it's somewhere in the hallway when you don't have a distraction, all the pictures, all of these lights are from the street, this and that, okay, no problem, pray there. But it must be your established place, and it's Hashem said, well, from the place where you call me, but constantly calling me from this place, I'm going to hear you. So you're in this place, and you can feel imagine that radio waves of Hashem. That he's waiting for your prayer. So how can you be not happy? You understand how you can be not happy? All right, and the biggest joy, it says in Mislas Yesharim, that's how it starts in the first chapter, it's to be close to Hashem. And the biggest punishment in this world, to be disconnected to Hashem. So I'm with him, I'm connected with him as this guy 1.5 hours. Of course, I bless him. I bless him with very good blessing. And I said, may it be Hashem will that every Jewish man have to pray minimum 1.5 hours in the morning, minimum, right? And I told them it's not because the people think that he's crazy. I said that that's a minimum requirement, according to our sages, to say all of these words, right? So I said maybe Hashem's will that all of the Jewish males pray this way. Of course, it's not expected. Women they need to pray selective prayers if they can pray the whole prayer. It's good for them, but if not, whatever, they have their own requirements. So that's how you will be happy. The more you learn about Hashem, the more you learn about Him, the closer relationships you have. The closer relationship you have, the more you love this person, not person, Hashem, right? And I'm just thinking ahead. So when you have your childhood friend, when you spend so many hours and years together, so you're very close to that person. You feel like attached, like part of you. Why? Because you know this him or her for many years. That's how the love develops, right? So same as Hashem. The more you learn about Him, how much He does for you, so your love develops, right? And He's ready for you, right? By the time you woke up, He's there. He's waiting for your prayer. What could be better? Okay. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
In regards to this question, sometimes I find it really hard to have kavanah, even to focus on the prayer itself. And sometimes I had this feeling of that is something kind of wrong. I don't know. But then I just found this on a book that it says just as one nutritional needs may be met even by intragastric feeding, so to the minimal purpose and goal of mitzvahs is more than sufficiently provided by the mere physical act of mitzvah fulfillment, which is in itself a show of subservience to the Almighty. Doing a mitzvah even without knowing its meaning provides us with our basic spiritual sustenance requirements. So I was wondering, even if we don't have the best connection with the mitzvah itself, because sometimes we feel very elevated, some days we do, some days we don't. So could this think about this concept and find some comfort in it, that the mere or the sole effort of trying to do the mitzvah would be at least the basic minimum for the mitzvah itself and for the soul, perhaps?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So if we did the mitzvah technically, so it is counted as a mitzvah. But as we said today, it's really interesting. In Chafetz Chaim today, so it's a diminished mitzvah. So of course Hashem is His mercy. Beezrat Hashem, He's going to give us a credit and judge us positively and count as a complete mitzvah, not a missing leg or a hand, or in some cases head, because our head was somewhere else. You understand? But we still continue to do it. We don't settle for the minimum, because you said, okay, Hashem, I failed today, but guess what? Tomorrow I'm going to try again. I'm going to try in minchag with the more kavanah. I'm going to try. So of course, all of this distraction comes from Eitz Hara, and we have to fight them, right? So how do we fight them? To have less distraction in your life, to watch less news, to speak less with useless people. You understand? So try to not watch your eyes. Watch, right? Yeah, that's it. So, and less distraction you have, and more Torah you have in your life. So that helps very much, because you don't have second opinion. You what is going on in the world. You only know what you read today in the parasha. You only know what you learned today in the class. That's it. You understand? Of course, we go to work, we do what needs to be done, but otherwise, seclude yourself from all of these things. And people who watch all of the news, and they say that, but how can you become? And it was one lady, non-Jewish lady. She did analysis of our lectures and classes, a beautiful analysis. She used to be Christian, Baruch Hashem, but she stopped, and she would rebuke everybody. She's I don't know, she was 70s, I think, very tough lady. And then she left us comment, maybe last week, and I said, thank you, Raj, Baruch Hashem, thank you for a beautiful comment. But I said, we start worrying. I mean, we start worrying what happened to you. And she said, I could not concentrate. I could not leave you any comment. I could not read any things that you watch, any things that you publish. Why? Because I was fighting with Hamas on all this media, all the lefty liberals. So and this lady, even though she's not Jewish, she means well, she's a sweet lady, but she spent so many hours to spend fighting these anti-Semites. You understand? It's instead of increasing the holiness in the world, that's how Satan like disperse our attention. The more you read, so I think this anti-Semites stop to be anti-Semites after whatever she told them all the truth. I don't think so. You understand? So we try to minimize all of these useless activities. But of course, she said in the commentary, so I was drained for a month. She was fighting with these people. And all of the platforms, I don't know where she fought, but whatever. I think it's everywhere there were anti-Semites, and she tried to comment, rebuke them, this and that, to prove them wrong. But was it productive? Absolutely not. I mean, I hope it was, but for her soul, was it productive? No. So she's a drained person. She cannot concentrate right now. She cannot learn. And that's absolutely wrong. So that's what Satan wants. He wants us to be kind of like busy with other things. Okay, what else?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question aboard says, Shalom Kavanah, question. Should it be taken as a general rule that couples apply the laws of yichud when the wife is in niddah? For example, is the husband allowed to see the wife's hair when she's niddah? Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Okay, so that's amazing question. That's amazing, absolutely amazing question. So the laws of yichud is actually with women that permanently forbidden to us, right? So since with the wife, okay, she's forbidden, but not completely forbidden. Okay, she's going to get pure and again allowed to her husband in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. So it's not a problem. So, but what is the problem? So Shlomo HaMelech said that stolen waters are sweeter, right? What does it mean? That something it's completely forbidden. That's what per person wants. You understand? But something that is not completely, it's going to be allowed. So a person he can wait for the time, right? So she does not have to be 100% modest, modest according to the way she would go to the street in front of her husband. Of course, she tried to be modest, not to provoke him, but the hair for sure there is no problem. Okay, what else? Good question.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, Shalom Kavanah. Is one allowed to wear jewelry beneath the clothing on Shabbos out of an Eruv?
Beneath the clothes, it's an amazing question, but that's a problem. That's a problem. Not allowed. Not allowed. What does it mean? So for women, jewelry it's part of the clothing. For men, not so much. Right? Of course, some men wear bracelets and this and that. So if it's a culture in that region, yes. So you can wear a bracelet if it's for a decorative person. But on Shabbos, clothing is considered in this big definition of clothing. Of course, clothing, right? Whatever we wear on ourselves, something that protects us from elements, whatever it's heat, sun, rain, snow, all of these things, right? And plus something for dignity, so that's clothing for sure, and something for a health reason. For example, a person has a wound, so he or she is allowed to wear these bandages. So, right, to protect the wound, otherwise it's going to be infection, right? Okay. And the third category, which is not so simple, but of course it's much more lenient for women, is jewelry. Because why? Because it's a customary, like from the beginning of the world, for women to have jewelry, right? For them it is decoration, right? But if she would have this chain or whatever necklace under the clothing, so it's no longer decoration; it's carrying. You understand? So if she, for example, our poskim discuss if she is going through the bad neighborhood, for example, to get to the shul, right? So and she wants to hide this necklace, for example, so like gold chain or something, so to go through the neighborhood, and then she wants and then she wants to display it in a shul, there is no problem. But otherwise, to keep it constantly under there, that's under the clothes and forbidden. It's carrying, not 100%. It's not for decoration.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So about this, why is a man or a person not allowed to carry a watch or a clock, but if he has like a very fancy, expensive one, he is allowed? Indeed, why is that?
Okay, so that's very good question. So for men, men usually don't wear jewelry, but some men would wear like signet ring or something, right? Like right, and watch. So if it's watch, so some in the area where I live, they call it Hassan watch. Hassan meaning is a groom, right? So what does it mean? That it was a golden one, like expensive, like I don't know, very very expensive, with the gold, with diamonds, something like that. So that's that he would like to show off. Okay, so that's, and according to some poskim, it is a 100% jewelry, and you're allowed to walk with this watch, right? But second opinion, it says if they ask practical question, is it watch to tell time, or this watch is for decorative purposes? Like straightforward question, is it or is it both? So what does it mean? If the watch is going to stop working, right? Let's say it's old style that I used to have. You have to wind every day, right? So if you did not wind the watch, but let's say like you forgot to wind, or you better I don't know, right? If it's stopped working, are you going to wear it? So that's a simple question. So a man said, why would I need to wear this watch if it's golden with diamonds, fancy schmancy, but it's not working? What is the use? Oh, what is the use? So this watch was never decorated for decoration. You understand? It's always like for practical reason. For practical reason, you're not allowed to wear a watch. Everything is very simple. You understand? So for men, like unless he would walk, like according to the second opinion, if it's even an expensive watch, and he would not wear it if it's going to stop working, it's for practical reason. Right? He needs to know time. But for women, women would wear as a decoration, right? It's diamond or sparkling. Okay, so for women, like if another woman would see that the words stop, so they laugh together, giggle together, and that's it. So they would not get embarrassed or something. So it does not work. But for a man to have a watch that is not working, so that's a very big embarrassment. So in a sense, so for women, it's not so practical, meaning that they can wear watch even if it's broken, if it's sparkling, is with diamonds or gold, there is no problem. But for men, it's a huge issue. So that's why most of the men, religious men, do not wear watch, unless somebody wants to show off, and he would, as we said, wear even if it's broken. Okay, and same with gloves. So now is winter by us, right? So gloves. So we don't wear gloves in the winter, right? Women do wear gloves in the winter. Men don't. Why? Because it's normal when you meet your friend, you want to shake hands, and normal way of shaking hands, like to take off the glove and shake somebody's hands, not shaking the glove. Right, so and Paskim were afraid when you take off the glove, so and you shake the hands, you very nice to see you, and you might walk these 4 hours, this as we said, this 7 to 8 feet, this 2 meters approximately, right? And in a public domain, wearing your glove in your hand, and here we go, your friend made you caring. So they say since it is custom of the man to shake hands, right, in the middle of the street, but when you see some your friends, so they say no gloves for men, but women, they usually don't shake their hands, so there is no problem. They can wear gloves. So very practical.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome. What else?
So, yeah, quick question about this before I jump into the next question on the board. So is a digital watch with buttons muktzeh on Shabbos?
No, I mean usually people don't press buttons. I don't know what is the button like to set the timer to set the timer. You usually if it's running, so that's fine, right? I think the buttons. I had this watch, digital watch, I don't know, 30 years ago, maybe more. So maybe less. I don't know. So this watch basically, like even though there are buttons, but they made in this design in this way, so it's very seldom or that you would press the button accidentally. I almost never. So you understand. So it's absolutely safe if there is a what is it in if there is a Eruv. Right, for example, you can carry this watch. There is no problem whatsoever. You can use them for studying. You need to know what time, so it's not muktzah because it has some muktzah is the thing that just reminded that thing that does not have practical application on Shabbos. In a second category, something like not direct application but secondary applications, like just to remember, like. Hammer to break to open the nut, so it's secondary application, not the primary but secondary. But this watch practical, very practical. Okay, so it's not muktzah. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. Shalom, please correct me in the following question.
Mm-hmm.
If one forgot to untie the tichel knot after Shabbat, could it be considered a transgression and such not be considered permanent? Thank you, Rabbi.
If one say it again, if one forgot to untie tichel knot after Shabbat.
Yes.
Okay.
One forgot to untie.
Untie. Yeah. Okay. So let's quickly. So we're all on the same page. So we have 39 melachas, and one of them is to tie some professional knot or some permanent knot. And then second melacha is to untie. So those are two separate melachas. So if someone tie the knot, and it stay permanently. So what is permanent? Permanent, it does not have to be professional, right? Professional, like it's not so easily untied. Not professional is like not in a bow. So you pull one string and it's untied. So it's not professional. But if you tie something like this, and you leave it over, we're going to explain what. So according to some opinions, so it's like they say if you leave it more than 24 hours since you tied, it's considered to be like you tied the person like a permanent knot and you transgress the prohibition. So the other opinion is actually by Tuesday, right? So if you untied it by Tuesday, there is no problem. So why Tuesday? Tuesday. So Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are actually connected to the Shabbos, to that just passed. So if you did it until the Tuesday sunset, it's considered to be no problem, and you did not violate the melacha. And the most lenient opinion, it's actually if you untie it before the next Shabbos, there is no problem. So in case of the need, of course, we try to untie everything right away, whatever was tied on Shabbos. Right, but if a person forgets accidentally, so we can count on a more lenient opinion. First, so it's not right after Shabbos; it's 24 hours, right? After the person died. So if she tied something at 3 p.m., let's say, so she has until 3 p.m. or to 2 p.m. Let's say to make it simpler, and on Sunday. So it's not right after Shabbos, or according to another opinion, more lenient opinion, until Tuesday, until the sunset, according to the second, until the Friday night. Okay, so of course we're trying to fix the issue as soon as possible, of course. Okay.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay, sorry. Permanent not considered. Okay. If a woman had not worn earrings for a long time and decided to put them on Shabbat, could it be a problem regarding the melacha of boneh or borer? Because sometimes when putting the earring back on, when leaving the earring on the other side, it comes out with a little bit of dust. Thank you very much, Rabbi.
So the problem would be that's a very good question. So I'm not sure. So my question would be if it's a danger of somebody like if like I don't know that the hole would close off completely and now you have to puncture. So if you have to puncture, that's the problem. Or if it's even you don't have to puncture, but there is some like sharp end in this earring and it can like draw the blood, it's also a problem. You understand? But if the hole is still there, maybe it's closed a little bit, there is no problem. If it comes with a little dust, there is no problem. You understand? Because it's dust from the body, so you allow it's probably sweat. That's what dust is. It's not dust, it's sweat. So there is no problem to wash off the sweat on Shabbos. There is no problem. Right? So the problem is if it's closed, the hole closed completely, that's the problem. And second, if it's not closed completely, but it can draw the blood, that's an issue for sure. But otherwise, it should not be an issue. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, Shalom Kodav. If one is locked out of a bathroom on Shabbos, is he allowed to use a needle to pick the lock?
Yes, there is a needle or even a screwdriver. So we have in our we have these locks, and there is a thin screwdriver that fits the best. So that would be secondary use, unexpected use for the screwdriver or a needle or whatever. There is like a primary usage of this vessel is for sure forbidden. Right, to like a screwdriver, for example, we're not allowed to screw in, like unscrew something. And needle, you're not allowed to sew on Shabbos, for sure it is muktzah. But if you can do something like with this needle, for sure it is allowed. It's a muktzah in the second category. Right.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. Question, keeping in mind that one can put on perfume on Shabbos, but most perfumes just with one spray, the perfume still soaks into one's clothing. Would this be considered a transgression?
Yes. Yes. That's the problem. So we're not allowed to perfume the clothing, and I'm going to explain why. For us, today it's like who would do that, but in olden times. People would put like if I remember correctly, they maybe put perfume on a fire and it would evaporate, and they would put the clothing like on top of it, so that these fumes would be absorbed into clothing. So you remember people did not shower every day, right? And then people do not do laundry every day. So just so you remember, so they had to smell presentable. You understand? So in some sense, this makik bipatish, if I remember correctly, makik bipatish, it's one of the 29 melachas that, as we explained, just to remind us, striking the last blow. Like my favorite example is you have a tea kettle, right? And you strike the last blow, you attach the handle. That's it. Now it's finished product. So same is here when you apply perfume. So nothing changed since then to the clothing. For sure, it is finished product and it's not allowed, right? But if you apply perfume on your neck or on your hands or whatever people apply perfume on your head, there is no problem. So on clothing, no, but on body, yes.
Thank you, Rabbi. Now our friend is clarifying. He says, I mean, directly on the skin and still attaches to the clothing.
That's what we indirectly. Let's say if she would put here, woman would put here, like, and then put some long sleeve, there is no problem. It's indirectly. It's not like some people, like men, like they would spray the clothing so it stay longer. Yeah, that's would be forbidden. But spray on the skin and then put clothing, there is no problem, because it's not primary. It's a like secondary, like the transfer from the original source. And we do not make the blessing on the smell. Somebody just asked me recently. So we don't make the blessing on a smell. Why? Because like on the smell of this perfume, because there is no source of the perfume. You understand that there is no source of smell. Yeah, it smells very good, let's say, but there is no actual source. So and smell something that is not tangible. If you have a perfume in your perfume bottle, yeah, you can make a blessing because it's something tangible. But if only like a empty empty bottle, and this empty bottle can smell good for I don't know for a year or something. I don't know. I'm just making up, right? So it's a very expensive perfume, but we do not make a blessing on that. There is no essence. Okay. What else? You're welcome.
Next question, when in conversion process and struggling to pick between Ashkenazi and Sephardic,
Mm-hmm.
I find both very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
How do I figure out which one I want? If I become Sephardic but then want to switch to minhag, is this allowed?
Okay, so it's that's a very big question. So let me start from the beginning. So we want to give complete answer. So if it's natural born Jew, and he or she wants to switch, it's not recommended. So we're going to get to the converse in a minute. So it's not recommended. Why? Because your Hashem put you in this situation, in this body, with this soul, with this ancestry, to follow this minhag. What do you want to change? And me personally, I'm talking about myself. All the people who switched the custom, all of them are not serious, and all of them did not do it because they want to be more religious and this and that. So they did it for ulterior motives and actually become heretics. At least I know 4 people like that. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Like, what is there to do? Maybe when just follow whatever your sage, whatever your ancestor did. Just follow that. It's perfect. You can be holy Ashkenazi. You can be holy Sephardic. It does not make a difference. Just continue with what you do. But if somebody wants to, again, from my experience, from people that I personally know for many years, not good, like totally disaster. I hope it's not. Of course, it was not the only reason, but these people had this idea, unfortunately, right? But if person, let's say he or she wants to change for a right reason. For example, they find it appealing. They move to this community and they want to be part of it. This and that. I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about women. Just so we understand, right? So of course he can change. It's most likely it's only once in a lifetime. You decided to change. You change and that's it. You cannot go back and forth. You're not like this kind of people that go from one to another. Right, so that's very simple. But me personally, I don't see any, I never heard any valid reason from somebody to switch the cut. Never ever. So because the Sephardic sing better, so sing with them. What is the problem? somebody is stopping you from going to Sephardic shul and sing with them? Absolutely not. You take your siddur. You like to sing with them. I mean, personally, I said many times, I like when I go to Israel. I haven't been there for a long time, but when I would go, I'd like all of the different Sephardic minyanim, like different, from Moroccan to Yemenite to all of the. I like the culture. I like they sing it. I like how they pray, like pronunciation, like totally. I enjoy it very, very much. But is it? I am going to change my custom? Absolutely not. But I mean, there is no contradiction whatsoever. You understand? That's one thing. That's for natural born Jews. And if you change only once. But why I said it's only for men, because for women it's almost irrelevant. Almost, I'm going to explain. Women, when they get married, they must take the custom of the husband, right? So they cancel basically their custom, whatever she was doing in the father's house. It's out of the question. So she must follow her husband's custom. So if she's planning to get married, I mean. That's pretty irrelevant, because times comes and she would change the custom anyway, right? Or adopt the custom, or not change or keep, right? So when somebody in the process of conversion, so I mean, they have to read more, I guess, about the culture and see what is the difference. I don't see, like, for me personally, I don't see like a huge difference in the cultures. Like to be between Ashkenazi and Sephardic, it's something suddenly different, some food difference, some little prayers, like minor difference, right? It's so read against the history of these people, and since some people, I would say, some people convert out of the doubt. Because maybe they're Jews, maybe not Jews, so there is no documental proof to that. So in this case, I would recommend, research your family, right? Whatever family as it is, and see if it's most likely that they came from Sephardic background. So follow that. If they most likely these people from Ashkenazic background, so follow that. So right, so that would be one hint. Any other hints? I would not say. So it's a personal preference. Right? Some again minor difference. There is advantage in one and disadvantage in others. But it evens out. Doesn't matter. Right, and plus, I guess maybe another thing, like if you decide to like before conversion, like maybe one more point, a valid point. If you decide, if it does not make any difference, like for you, and you decided that you're going to live in this area, in this neighborhood, let's say, and all of them Ashkenazic, and you do not care, so be part of the group. You understand? Or if it's most of them Sephardic, so be part of the group. You understand? If you don't know where you're going to live after conversion, where you're going to move, so that's a different story. So it's personal choice. I would not recommend one over the other, because there is not, in my opinion, there is not much difference.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, say someone is pulling Sephardic minhag, and for some reason, or for whatever reason, feels like he wants to take on some of the stringencies from the Ashkenazim, would he be allowed to do this?
I would say if a person can take some stringency. Just so we know, when it says Ashkenazim or Sephardim, it's actually the most likely this these controversies I actually come from Gemara, right? So in Gemara, the two sages have a different views, the different opinions of Achranim, right? And not Achranim, Rishonim that were like after that. So it was before before the Ashkenaz, before all the Sfarad, this thing. So basically, don't take it as other people do, but take it this stringency based on this Chacham who said it 1,000 years ago. Understand? So there is no new things like these people who make fun of sometimes this unfortunately not educated people, unfortunately, of the Ashkenazi custom of not eating kidneys. So kidneys, what is kidneys? Kidneys is all of the what does it call it? Beans, all of the beans, corn and other like rice and and the like, right? So we don't eat it on Pesach. So and how old is this custom? 800 years old, 1,000 years old. So if it was the custom like this until now, so we keep it. Sephardim never had this custom, never adopted this custom, so they don't keep it. Do you understand? So if you want to take this custom, so do not because the Ashkenazim keep it, right? But because this sage 850 years ago or 1,000 years ago, he said could be a problem. So okay, he said it could be a problem. I'm going to abide by the stringency, but don't all of these things do not advertise. So if you want to take some stringencies that is the whole community does not do, just keep it private. Like nobody's going to come to your kitchen and open your pots and see. How come you? I thought that you Sefer, you don't eat rice. Okay, you understand. But if nothing like that is going to happen, so there is no problem. You understand? Not as I said, not such a big difference. Okay, what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Last question on the board. So, follow-up question. Can we take painkillers just before Shabbat to avoid pain during Shabbat, or should it be more than just a couple of minutes before Shabbos starts? Thank you, Rabbi.
So even 1 minute before the Shabbos starts, it's good. I remind everybody every time, every year, and I want to remind again because few people reported me and they thanked me profusely about this thing that many years ago I was sure that everybody is aware, but I said it one time in a class, like in a different class, that people were like amazed. They did not know there is a special pill that releases caffeine like gradually. And it's very, very good for people that I know. I personally know many people have headaches, like severe headaches, unless they drink coffee, right, every day, right, or they drink or eat something. Like it's like very 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 challenging for them. And this coming Friday we have a fast day. So if you take the pill in the morning, and especially this fast day, so it's only from I didn't check, from 6. Let's say I'm just making up numbers, from 6 until 4:30. I'm just making up numbers. So this pill for sure is going to work for 6-7 hours. So it works very good for you, right? And you avoid all of this pain. So basically, if you take it even 1 minute, even 30 seconds before the fast starts, there is no problem. You're allowed to drink, like to drink this pill, to swallow this pill, like anytime, any time before. It says the fast start, let's say 6:13. So at 6:12, you're allowed to eat, you're allowed to drink. There is no problem whatsoever. Not you can allow to eat until 6:13, and after 6:13 you want to say the blessing after the food. There is no problem whatsoever. So if you need a painkiller, do it 1 minute before Shabbos. No problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So may I, our princess, thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So may I ask one last question before we wrap it up?
Go ahead.
Is one allowed to pretend, okay, say someone is trying to speak about forbidden things or small talk or whatever with us, and they mention things that we know about, that we're, I don't know, knowledgeable about whatever, but they're not proper, say, I don't know, people start speaking about some famous person or whatever, some of this nonsense. Are we allowed to pretend we have no idea what he's talking about, even when we do, in order to avoid this conversation? Would this be lying, or would it be like a permissible lie?
It's a very good question. So this morning, B'siyata Dishmaya, we learn as following. So Rabbi Dessler Zatzal says, we all learn in school that when somebody says, when somebody reports what he saw, the way it was, they consider it to be true, and deviation from that, it falls. Right, and of course, and that's the beginning. Of course, I don't remember all the details, but he said in real life it's not exactly like that. So somebody that tell them the whole truth, 100% truth, but it would produce the bad results, and bad results not according to Hashem's will. It's false 100%. Right, or he's saying the truth, but in his mind he means something bad, meaning saying something derogatory about another person. It's 100% false, right? So the truth, Rabbi Dessler Zatzal defines something that according to the Torah. So what is good for the Torah, for the peace. So in this world, in this story, in this example, I would say you can deviate, like say I don't know, maybe I don't know, but I don't want to know. Right, so it's not a 100% lie. So I don't know. I apologize. Like I need to go. I do not care. I don't know these people. I wish I never knew about them. So it's not like that. So just show that you don't have any interest. And the person, usually people stop right there, unless they're crazy and they like you very much. Right? But then if they like you very much and they're crazy, you have to run. So that's also good. Like one lady that reported to me, like she was wanted to start dating, and this guy, he like abused her on the phone, like even before date. So I said, Baruch Hashem. She said, no, you don't understand. I said, you do not understand. Can you imagine that you would go with this guy, I don't know, somewhere in the evening, somewhere, not at night, for sure, but in the evening, like sit and I don't know, like something would happen. If he's so like abusive over the phone, like you'd never even met, so it's very good. Hashem save you. Well, I don't know whatever she said, I didn't ask, but like we have to read these signs correctly. So, right, so Hashem save you. He opened up, he showed his real face. Hashem, very good. It would be much, as she said, I never thought like that. Of course, I said, of course not. But if you like, can you imagine if the guy turned like this monster, like abusive monster, like I don't know, 2 weeks after the marriage, what would you do then? Right? So it's very good. All right. So yeah, try to run from these people. They want a small talk. So no, I do not know. I apologize. I do not care. I don't have TV. I don't care about things. I'm good. Okay. So again, truth. It's according to Hashem. If it brings positive result, and the example of positive result was the Rabbi Dessler brings the case of Yaakov. So it looks like on a surface of the things that Yaakov lied to steal the blessing of the Esau. But the truth is that the point of creation and everything was that Yaakov get this blessing and he deserves this blessing. Why? Because Esau forgot to tell from his father, so he's not a firstborn. You understand? So this truly this blessing belongs to Yaakov. So in his deviation from the truth, he actually him and his mother restored the correct setting of the truth of the world. You understand? So that's 100% truth. Okay, so it's not that simple. It's not like in the same school. If you say exactly as you saw, it's true. If you deviate, it's false. Okay, we are more sophisticated than that. Baruch Hashem. Okay. What else? Any other questions? Okay, no problem. So let's stop here. So please join us tomorrow, same time. We're going to learn Shabbos kitchen. about knives. We're still on the topic of the knives. All right, thank you very much and good night. Thank you.